But maybe I won't do that this time. Maybe I'll stay sober. Maybe I'll start going to church or go back to church. Maybe I'll go to AA. Maybe I'll take some of those addiction classes that are going to make me sit through and actually learn something and get serious about it. Now, some people have what I would refer to as a burning bush experience. In other words, something happens in their life, and just like that, they go from looking at the world in a very negative fashion to looking in the world in a very positive fashion. Their whole spiritual outlook, it completely changes overnight, in an instant. And it happens, but that doesn't happen very often. Usually what it is it's more of an educational variety. Things change slowly. I talked to many guys that I worked with that were, inmates in prison. And, they'd be sitting over in quarantine, which is where they stuck them when they were trying to figure out exactly which prison in Michigan they were going to send them to and what programs they were going to have to take. And they would, some of these guys would sit there and go, well, I'm just going to get through this and, blah, 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 and just keep doing what I've been doing. But some men decide, maybe, I'm tired of this crap. How did I end up getting here? And I really am tired of all the bullshit in my life. So maybe when I get into prison, get assigned to wherever I'm going, maybe I need to start hanging out with positive people. Stay away from the damn knuckleheads. Maybe I need to get my GED and get serious about getting an education. I understand that they have college classes. Maybe I should try getting some college classes. Maybe I shouldn't drink or drug while I'm in prison. Now, I know that you guys are absolutely, completely, it's like, really? There's drugs in prison? Yeah, there's drugs in prison. There's alcohol and there's drug all over the prison. You can drink and drug when you're in prison, so nothing to be surprised in. But maybe I won't do that this time. Maybe I'll stay sober. Maybe I'll start going to church or go back to church. Maybe I'll go to AA. Maybe I'll take some of those addiction classes that are going to make me sit through and actually learn something and get serious about it. And what happens slowly but surely, it's an education. They have an educational change, and they wake up one day and all of a sudden they're looking at the world from a positive viewpoint. All of a sudden it's like the world isn't a shithole anymore. The world isn't a shithole. It's actually not a bad place. Okay? And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and it takes work. Okay? For me, again, by age 48, I told you how I looked at the world, what my spiritual outlook was. But then one morning in the summer of 1997, I came to under a palm tree. And as I'm coming to, one of my first thoughts was, oh my God, my throat is dry, it's burning. I started to open my eyes a little bit and the sun was blinding me. But there was this terrible smell. I go, what the hell is that? It smells like something died. And when I was able to open my eyes and focus after coming to, and by the way, you noticed I said I came to. I didn't wake up because I hadn't slept for years. I drank, passed out, and then came to. So when I could finally focus, I figured out what the smell was. And excuse me, but the smell was that I'm laying in my own shit because I shit myself. I'm laying in my own piss because I pissed myself. I'm laying in my own vomit because I puked all over myself. And that's the good part. The scary part was it was all full of blood because I'd been bleeding out of both ends. And this wasn't the first time. This had been going on for a while. I had a doctor tell me months before this that, you keep drinking the way you're drinking and smoking the way you're smoking and you're going to die. You're just going to die. But I didn't do it. I kept doing it. Occasionally I'd wake up in the morning and say, I'm not going to drink today. And, maybe I'd go a whole day, but, wouldn't be long. Is that, 6, 7 o'clock at night or the next night, I'd say, yeah, I'll just have it. And, it seemed like a good idea at the time to have a drink. But once I had the first drink, away I went. And I'm crazy. So I'm laying there and I'm bleeding out of both ends. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to die. In fact, I believed that day that I was never going to get up off the ground, that I was going to die there. And I'll be honest with you, it scared the crap out of me. And for whatever reason, why it happened that day, I don't know, but all of a sudden I said, I got to quit doing this, because if I don't, I'm going to die. Now, I was raised a Baptist, and they told me where I was going to go, and it didn't sound like a pleasant place, so I'm thinking, no, I don't want to die. I wish I could say I wanted to quit drinking because I wanted to be a better human being, a better father to my children. No, there was only one reason I quit drinking, and that's because I didn't want to die. I was scared to death of dying. And I stayed sober for the next 4 years. But I only dealt with the physical part. I took care of the physical part. And I got healthy. I started running again. I started taking care of myself. I wasn't drinking. I was still smoking, but at least I wasn't drinking. And I got physically better. Emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, I got worse. In fact, emotionally and psychologically, I was worse off than I was when I was drinking. I didn't know how to cope with life. I had no clue how to cope with life or to deal with all those issues that I had inside of me. And as I've stated before, you know, people who get sober, they understand that the quitting the drinking part or the drugging part, the physical part, is the easy part. It's now that you've done that, you got to deal with all that emotions and psychological part. And I didn't know how to do it. And my life got really, really bad. So bad that I finally asked for help. And I went to see a really nice lady who's a therapist. Her name was Judy. She helped me a lot. Convinced me that maybe I should start going to AA. I went to AA. I met some really nice people. My best friend in the world I met at an AA meeting, and he did an intervention to help me get into Crossroads Treatment Center, Eric Clapton's treatment center in Antigua in the West Indies. And this is when my journey of recovery started, of real recovery. I started working on the emotional, the psychological, and the spiritual aspects of my life. And slowly but surely my life started changing. And one day it was really weird. It was probably about a year after I started with that process. I remember one day thinking to myself, going, wait a minute. What happened to the knot? The knot's gone. The knot's gone. I didn't wake up with the knot anymore. Now, that doesn't mean that my life's perfect. There are days when the knot comes back. Shit happens, man. But you know what? I've worked on this physical, the emotional, the psychological, and the spiritual, and I keep working at it. And my life is better, and my whole outlook on life is different. I look at the world now, the way I define the world now, it's a beautiful place. It's not that this is what I have to do, like I used to think I always have to do things. I heard or I read something that The Rock, that actor, he said, I used to go into my weight room and think, oh my God, I gotta do this, and sometimes I just don't want to do it. It's a lot of work. But then I realized that because I'm doing these things, it's helped me have the life that I've had. So instead of whining about why I have to do this, I say to myself, hey, I get to do this. And yeah, there are days when I'd like to have a drink maybe, or hit somebody or scream, but I get to do these things. Sobriety allows me to do things. I like to exercise. Every day I get on my bike and I ride my bike. And some days I'm riding my bike and I'm going, oh, I'm tired and I don't want to do this, and I'm 73 years old and this is a lot of work. But guess what? I don't have to do it. I get to do it. My sobriety allows me to be alive and get to enjoy life, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I get to at least get up every day and experience it. So yes, you can change. But here's a little thought that you need to think about, and that's this. You don't have to do this alone, and in fact, in recovery, you need help. People who are going to do this need help. Now, you as family members and friends, there's a place for you to help, and I'm going to talk about this when we get into that portion of the videos. But there are people out there that know what they're talking about. Ministers, people in 12-step meetings, therapists, whatever, but there are people, and the person that's going to get clean and sober and stay that way needs to help. And I'll leave you just with this one thought. As far as AA goes, and I'm an active member, been going for years, you go to AA to get the help that you need. You stay there to help the next guy. And that's what this is all about. Okay? So you can change, and your spiritual outlook can be different. All right? So if we're going to do this, we got to deal with the physical, the emotional, the psychological, and the spiritual. And if we do, this will work, and you're going to have a life that you never believed that you could ever have. And that's a great thing for your friends and your family members. They can have the life that you wish for them. Okay? So that's all I got for today. I know that was a long one, but hey, that's it. I'll catch you next time. Thank you. Hi, my name's Ken Seal, and this is Let's Talk Addiction. Now, if you like what you've seen and you think it can be helpful, and I believe it can be, I've been helping hundreds of people for years, hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll keep these coming. Thank you.